your way.
And now we want to see where the priority will be for both sides. Right now, NIP hovering over the Thresh. Galio available, maybe not as strong as it once was. However, not really going to be nerfed until the next patch, so still relatively good overall. But the man that we always talk about when we look at Mysterious Monkeys, no, it's not Kikis and Amazing, it's not the new players, it's CozQ in the mid lane.
Yeah, and what you can see from his stats down in the bottom there is that Orianna and Syndra are the most played mid lane champions, and what you can see are his stats compared to every other European mid laners, Orianna and Syndra, and he does not rate that highly. He seems to have the most success when he gets those comfort champions like the Katarina, like the Casio, and while we are more likely to see his champions come later on in the draft, it's important to be mindful of these big, normal, standard, like meta picks that I feel like the Mysterious Monkeys do not fall under.
Yeah, maybe not on the table, but they do have the luxury of Rek'Sai, which means they have the final pick. Maybe they can counter pick for CozQ. Maybe we're not going to see the Syndras and the Oriannas, but the Katarinas and the Cassiopeias. We will see, however, as the first phase is already almost done. Looks like Renekton going to come into the top lane for Profit. Aggressive early pick with a lot of potential options here up against it. Lee Sin as well for Shook, one of the few picks he's been successful on, and amazing on Rek'Sai. Feels like a lot of comfort coming out here.
Yeah, really liking this draft from Ninja so far. They have a lot of great pick potential. They have a powerful laner in the form of Renekton. They can look to ban away the Gnar as well so that they can guarantee a favorable matchup towards Profit. So we can already see a bit of investment for the Ninjas into Pyjamas to set up their top lane for success. Whereas Mysterious Monkeys, they're saying, you know what, CozQ has a deep champion pool, Kikis has a deep champion pool. We can afford to save them till later and just guarantee a strong 2v2 down with the Xayah and the Rakan.
And a very strong 2v2. And the thing that interests me, Vedius, is that I feel like when Xayah and Rakan were first released, it was like, we don't want to see it, let's ban it. That people experimented with leaving it open, and really they lost.
Yeah.
But now it feels like teams have gotten more used to these champions, and they aren't quite that first ban pick priority that they once were, but still such a powerhouse to give away. And as we move into the second ban phase, you can see all of these AD carry picks taken away from HeaQ on the bottom side, really just optimizing that bot lane matchup.
It's a little surprising that we did see the Jhin come out. I do know that around the world, Jhin has become more popular, but Ashe and Varus have been two of HeaQ's most played AD carries. So I feel like you're not taking any comfort as we see the Mordekaiser Kikis, ladies and gentlemen. This man loves to bring this out.
You wanted, you know, Ninjas versus Monkeys. Well, Master of Metal, definitely going to mix things up on the top side of the map. I want to make fun of this, but it was picked in LCK.
It was
automatically the right choice, right?
It was indeed.
Top tier meta picks here in the EU LCS. Of course, Mordekaiser, interesting to have on the team. Very unique ultimate, can give you that unique control over Dragon to push, and doubles down with the Rift Herald. We heard that mentioned from Papa Smithy in the LCK. How brutal that can be if you find the advantage. HeaQ and Sprattel, though, taking their time with these final lock-ins, and Nagne going to get his hands on the Syndra. Last pick as well. Surprising to see it go so late, but CozQ now has the luxury of a counter pick, and Vedius, I think you know where he's going.
I think I know where he's going. Katarina was played by CozQ in their series versus Fnatic, and one slight misplay, and it could have resulted in a solo kill in favor of CozQ. And we talked about earlier on his performance on meta champions. He is going towards the Orianna. He's going to stick to what the other mid laners in Europe and around the world prefer to play, but we know that so far he does not have the strongest performances on it. So a big eyes will be on top of CozQ.
Yeah,
in this
definitely
matchup.
not. 9th place in terms of KDA for Orianna players in the league. 8th place in terms of damage per minute. We really want to see CozQ step up this game. Of course, not a bad matchup for him. Orianna, kind of known to be more of a safer pick. But when we look at it across the board, two very different compositions here coming out. Xayah and Rakan going up against the Varus Thresh. I feel like our eyes also have to be on the jungle because we have the Rek'Sai, the early game power of that, the unique jungle pass, as well as the Lee Sin, the classic early game jungler. And you have to get hyped. Amazing versus Shook, two veteran players, two old school players to a certain degree, coming back onto these younger lineups.
Really excited to see these compositions come together. You have amazing playmakers with the Rakan, with the Rek'Sai on the side of the Mysterious Monkeys. I'm expecting a lot of high-octane, high early-game jungle presence coming out from Amazing, trying to get Kikis ahead up in the top lane, trying to get CozQ rolling on the Orianna. But Ninjas in Pyjamas, they have strong laners, and I'm really excited to see with the amount of pick potential with the have, with the amount of snowball potential this composition relies on, where the leads will come from and how much action we're expecting in the early game.
We are expecting a bloodbath, Vedius. The audience is ready here in Berlin. And I mean, you have to be. Someone has to walk away with a win today. Someone cannot remain defeated forever. Who is it going to be? Mysterious Monkeys versus the Ninjas in Pyjamas. Game 1 coming at you pretty quickly. And now, all right, Game 1, Vedius. Oh. Oddly appropriate. The Blood Moon is out on the Rift, folks.
And you know what that means.
People are going to kill each other, Vedius.
People are going to kill each other. I probably shouldn't sing that, but nevertheless, let's focus in on the top lane, Drakos, because nobody really cares about Orianna versus Syndra. Everyone wants to talk about this Mordekaiser. We did see it. It was played by Longju versus Afrika over in the LCK. And there are a lot of question marks around whether or not Mordekaiser was really a good pick, but it was picked into the Renekton. And the reason why is because Renekton as a champion is very lane dominant. He's all about applying pressure, getting in your face, building advantages through harassment, and getting an early CS lead. But the thing about Mord is because of the passive shield, he can soak up a lot of that early game damage, and he has a lot of sustain on the W, that once it soaks up a bunch of damage, you get a bunch of heal back and you can mitigate a lot of the pressure from Renekton. So the laning phase becomes a lot easier for the Mordekaiser, and then he's going to get a few items under his belt, and once he gets going, once he gets scaling, that's when you really start to see his impact.
And I want to see it, because I think we remember right when Mordekaiser got reworked, when he was played in the bot lane. We all know the terror of the third Q proc, of how much damage Mordekaiser can do. Now, how is it going to function in that top side of the map? Well, for now, Prophet going to give up a little bit of lane pressure there for a little bit of vision, and things starting off quite calmly. Mirrored starts from both junglers.
And what you're going to see from Mord is he's just going to want to push and farm, push and farm. He's going to start with the W so that he has that extra bit of early sustain, and you can see he's just going to put it on a minion, fast clear, there's the bit of regeneration, and it's just push all day, because he's not a lane dominant champion. He doesn't care about early leads. All he really wants is gold and items, because scaling is the name of the game for him. The big issue that he's going to have later on is getting into fights. He's super easy to kite. He has no gap closers, no real mobility. So he is a prime target in the early game to try and camp.
Definitely something that they have to be aware of, and we have to wonder where the jungler is going to put their attention. For now, Amazing opting for the early Scuttle Crab clear. And I like this because you know Kikis is going to push. You know Kikis is going to get aggressive. So Amazing putting some attention topside. Feels like it's the right choice, and now it's not going to be a gank. But maybe they are going to look to invade here. Try to shut down Shook early. Of course, he is nowhere near them.
Interesting. Like, Shook has decided to do a full clear on the bottom half of his map. Amazing, starting on red and getting level 3 off the Scuttle will mean that he should be able to steal away the blue. But because of the pressure that NIP have with the Varus and the Thresh, Shook can look to do the same on the bottom side himself. So they're just going to trade sides of the map for now. But I feel like this is not the best investment for Shook, because as you rightly said, Shook needs to be investing pressure into the top side. Kikis is just going to be perma-pushing. The early game is where that Mord is his weakness. And when you have a Renekton, you really need to get this lane going. He needs to have some kind of a lead so that you can use his pressure in the mid-game. So what I want to see from Shook, the win conditions for NIP really are about getting that Renekton ahead and also trying to get a bit of an advantage for Nagne in the middle lane. If you can start the snowball on the Syndra, then the Orianna is going to have very little room to get push and pressure, which means that Amazing does not have the same sort of freedom to invade and roam around.
That has been one of the struggles for these teams, though, is playing to those win conditions. We know we can expect early pressure, but where is it going to show up? Is it always going to be lined up with what we expect from a certain team composition? Honestly, no. These teams haven't been quite as consistent in that department, so we have to wonder, are they going to see it this time? Are they going to look to make those plays? Or are they just going to be content to back off and to give up a little bit on the top side and to allow this Mordekaiser to keep pushing it?
Well, I think that's a bit of a dangerous game to play. Mordekaiser, very obnoxious, annoying champion, and you definitely want to be respectful of his ability. But let's have a look at some of the early game stats that the Ninjas in Pyjamas have been involved in. The goal difference at 15 is +1. Not the best statistic out there in terms of early game leads. To be fair, though,
this is a team that has lost every single game. So the fact that they are on average even, let's call it, with enemy teams is impressive in its own right, and it's not a stat that the monkeys share.
And the impressive stat on this stat sheet is the first blood participation, 90%. Shook is really good at getting his team early kills, and he just seems to always be able to build that early advantage for the Ninjas in Pyjamas. And what we saw in their series versus HDK was that they were actually much more effective at being able to utilize it, but they then couldn't close out the game. They made those 2 mid-game decisions, which allowed HDK to come back. So for NIP, We want to see them get that early game lead and then properly snowball it, properly use it, and it all relies on the man in the jungle.
May want to have a bit more coming from support, though, as Sprattel already starts with the early roam. And while we normally think the Xayah, the Rakan, to be more aggressive, looks like Sprattel and HeaQ actually have really solid control of the lane on the bottom side, and really no hard engage coming in yet from Dreams. Of course, a bit difficult to get that grand entrance against a Flay, but something we have to consider is Dreams and Yuki are definitely losing out on the bottom side here.
But as compensation, Amazing does have control of the top as they're looking for HeaQ. But he's going to walk away. Absolutely fine.
It's just one of those situations. You never want to commit anymore. Lee Sin's just going to ward hop away. Yep. You're not going to walk away with anything, and that is one of the few awkward moments. It's not the Gragas. You don't have the CC. You just got a lot of damage in the case of Kikis, a lot of pushing power, and now your ultimate as well. This really upsets me from NIP. Like, the big window should have been top, but we could see something in bottom. Flash Flay goes back, hook, nice predict onto Yuki, now pulling in Nagne. Nagne not even going to opt to take it. You're looking to throw out the ultimate, looking for the easy kill. That's going to be it. First blood, dropping for HeaQ. And one of the rare occasions that HeaQ is not involved in those first bloods, but NIP still get it as a team. They've gotten that early lead, and it's being invested down into the bottom lane. Not what you typically expect when you have the Renekton, but the push, the pressure, still going to be in favor of HeaQ and Sprattel, and with no summoners onto Yuki, it's a big opportunity for NIP to come back and continue on with that pressure. And you look at it, Nagne still with Flash, HeaQ still with Flash, not even level 6 yet on the Varus. When he does get it, if he can get it before Yuki, it's going to be pretty easy. Just honestly tear that Xayah to pieces, but CozQ and Amazing, they're looking to fire back here, and that Renekton, already in a losing matchup, has to be careful. You can see that HeaQ reading the play, moving up to the top side, no jungle camp, so he's just trying to get towards the top laner to help keep him alive, but will he be able to get there in time? Nagne on the way as well. Prophet with the ultimate dominance available. Where's the ulti going to be moving in, knocking up, hold back. Ooh, that's going to be it. The kill comes in, HeaQ way too late. Now he has to hit his own teammate in the face. Mordekaiser, that's BM. Very clean dive from the Mysterious Monkeys. They do lose first blood down in the bottom lane, but they answer back in the top. The play was very telegraphed. HeaQ was even in the vicinity, but he just doesn't move fast enough. He doesn't get underneath the tower. Would it have made a huge amount of difference? Difficult to tell. Regardless, Mysterious Monkeys, they're able to get themselves a bit more gold on the map, and they get a kill onto CozQ, who has not had the best performances on that Orianna in the past few weeks. Maybe an advantage as well as the farm remains dead even, but just a small gold difference. Not going to be everything, but already, about 8 minutes into the game, we see a small amount of aggression coming in from both teams, and Dreams and Yuki starting to look a little bit more comfortable with that massive minion wave backing them up, even if they are at a pretty significant CS deficit. The big thing that concerns me for NIP right now is the fact that we talked about win conditions, we talked about what NIP is looking to do, and it was very much about getting this Renekton ahead. And so far, he's already behind the Mordekaiser. And it's just going to continue to go that way because Kikis, well on his way to getting himself the Rylai's Crypto Scepter early on. We talked about how kiting is a big issue for this champion. And you can heavily mitigate that by getting an item that literally adds a slow to your entire kit. So obnoxious to deal with for anyone playing up against the Mordekaiser. And this is one of those picks where you just need constant jungle pressure, as you mentioned earlier, and HeaQ not delivering there yet. Gate late on the counter gank, but one man who did not hesitate to make things happen was Amazing. Once again, insane stats in that K plus A at 15, involved in 3 kills pre-15 minutes, but gonna have to hold that thought as HeaQ takes that blue buff right away. Cheeky play that. He did have the support from Sprattel as well, thanks to the pressure that he had down bottom. So the 2-man unit did walk in, steal away the buff, very easy. And so far things still very even across the board. And as you rightly said, Amazing, his early jungle pressure, it wasn't really ganks, it was just hanging around, right? Yes, they were able to get that dive off, but the fact that he invested early vision, he put a lot of deep wards in, he was very prepared for this early play that we expected to see from HeaQ, because NIP's bottom lane roams over to the mid. Moving forward, HeaQ has the flash forward with the ultimate. It is going to be sidestepped by CozQ. Pretty easy to dodge that one up. NIP a little too eager there to pull the trigger. That was quite wide from HeaQ. One of the slowest skill shots in the game. A little awkward to throw it at max range. I still remember where we had to buff it because it was like the most missed ultimate in the game. Still seems that if you just aim in the wrong direction, it can still be missed, funnily enough. As Amazing continues to maintain control over the top side of the map. Mordekaiser very happy to keep farming away. And we talked a lot about NIP win conditions, but for Mysterious Monkeys, their win conditions is getting to this mid game. The
they have a really good teamfight composition with Mord and Orianna, and with Xayah going more for a scaling build. Looks like she's going for the early Essence Reaver, likely into a rapid fire cannon second, as they try to go for a gank on the Kikis.
Flashback, Amazing is there for the backup, but with 3 members strong, they're not going to take it. And you mentioned already, scaling coming in from the Xayah, good damage coming in from the Orianna, and I think the biggest part here is you have the Rakan, you have the Rek'Sai for that engage, but may not be important. CozQ getting aggressive. Scatter of the Week just comes out. Nagne just losing a bit of health there, but not going to be taken down. However, both supports are eager to make a play as they move towards the mid lane.
And as you rightly said, you'd think that one of the issues that this composition would have is really starting the fight, but when you have the Rakan, very easy to make an engage happen. So now Dreams and Amazing moving around as a 2-man unit, getting some deep vision, looking to try and punish Nagne, who does still have his flash available.
They're thirsty, man. Amazing and Dreams are trying to make something happen, and they have the vision set up there. It feels almost... We'll see how long it takes them before they want to move and make a play. Xayah coming bot lane, but they now are finally spotted out on a ward, and that means any play they're hoping to make is definitely going to fall apart. Huge investment of time for both these guys.
Yep. But they did get that deep vision, so right now they will know where HeaQ is on the map. This gives Kikis a bit of freedom, because bear in mind his flash is down, and if you know where the enemy jungler is, then that means that you know how aggressive you can look to play in that matchup. You already know that you're winning the 1v1, and it just gives him a little bit more freedom. So as you rightly said, yes, in terms of their own individual time, bit of a time sink, but they're doing it for their top laner. It's for the best of the team.
And top laners are now even. And Vedius, I mean, we touched briefly on the Mordekaiser, right? We're going to talk about him a lot more as the game goes on, but what is right or wrong with the meta that I'm seeing every champion I've ever hated in solo queue played in the top lane again? There's Aatrox coming back. We've got Mordekaiser. Jarvan's there too. Like, what has been changing that has allowed all these picks back in?
Well, I mean, when you have such a diverse pool up in the top lane, it allows for some creative individuals to share their creative talents. But let's see if we can shut that creativity down.
No creativity way out. Profit moving forward. Dark Sphere is going to miss. Scatter the Week does come out. Needs to heal up on the side of Kikis. Has not thrown out the ult. Does finally throw it out. Gets a massive burst of healing. That's big. Profit now moving forward. That's bad news. Profit. Ooh! Cole the Meek does get it in.
But that was close. That was very, very, very close to going horribly wrong for NIP. 2 members were invested into the top side. Multiple flashes were used. NIP were not expecting that big chunk of heal to come back for Kikis, but they are able to secure the kill, slow down the progression of this Mordekaiser. Feel like a little late into the game, but still what they needed to do. Now the Renekton will be feeling a little bit more comfortable in this 1v1, as HeaQ and Dreams continue their pressure down the bottom lane.
Should look good. CozQ looking for the roams as well, and I like that they're finally putting that attention to the top side, and it's really interesting because HeaQ hasn't been the jungler this game.
No, he hasn't.
Nagne has been the one roaming, the one making plays, and normally when we see HeaQ's Lee Sin, we expect good or bad, HeaQ makes plays, right? Good or bad, for better or worse, this man tries to get stuff done, and this time around it just feels like he's always a little late.
Well, just to echo that point, I've been told by my wonderful stats team that so far, HeaQ has done 0 damage to champions. 13.5 minutes into the game, and he has done 0 damage.
Glad the audience likes the fun fact stats as well. Okay, so
he's playing Lee Sin.
He hasn't hit anybody.
Playing Lee Sin.
Look, he's not feeding. It's a small win. All right, Nagne though in trouble. In he goes. Rakan knocks him up, gets knocked out, and taken. Oh, still burned. Still burned. Sprattel tries to save the day, but it's not enough, and Mysterious Monkey's firing back.
So Dreams is now able to get the roam off into the mid lane. Very difficult combo to escape from, but now HeaQ could be in trouble.
Featherstorm comes out, is going to wait out the duration of the root, but nice positioning from HeaQ means it's going to be a hard path out. A lot of damage comes in, not enough to escape it, but double TPs mean HeaQ could be in trouble. Kikis is on the win with a Mordekaiser going to ult up. Now he's got an AD carry to back him up, but Sprattel is going to say no. Dreams looking for the grand entrance, leaped in, flayed back, still going to get it. The chain CC starts to come in. Kikis has got the damage, so does HeaQ. The betrayer here on the bottom side as the AD carry turns against NIP, and Mysterious Monkeys grab the double.
And you can see how easy it is for Mordekaiser to dive these towers. Not only did he pick up the enemy team's AD carry, but he has all this regeneration. He has so much tankiness thanks to the passiveness on his shield, and he completed the Rylai's, which meant that sticking to his opposition was so much easier. Mysterious Monkeys, they answer back, and they get themselves a couple kills.
HeaQ moving around. Not sure if he can shut down the Orianna here, though, as NIP attempt to fire back. Still 0 damage to champions. Not even going to throw out the Q. Looking to keep it at the solid number. This guy and that Tryndamere from Reddit. 0 damage, Vedius.
And now, with the bot tower gone, NIP realize, well, we have to move our bottom lane up to the top side because HeaQ and Dreams, there's no reason for them to be down there anymore. So NIP, they're trying to get ahead of the play. They want to move to the top side of the map, see if they can catch Mysterious Monkeys as they're moving into position.
Dreams. Hook connects. That's some damage to champion. Shook. Gonna kick in. Gonna get it. That's the kill for the Lee Sin. Send some new numbers.
And this is a good response from NIP. They realize what Mysterious Monkeys were trying to do. They're able to get the turnaround. They get themselves a kill. So let's look back at how this fight actually started off. HeaQ identifies that HeaQ is out of position. Sprattel's able to get to the bottom lane faster, so they get themselves a very quick kill. Because the teleport is answering, they think that they can turn this around, especially with the Lantern there. But Kikis, he just does so much damage, and with the Rylai's slow, HeaQ cannot get to the Lantern in time. This means that the rest of Mysterious Monkeys, especially with the Orianna coming down to the bottom lane as well, you can just see how little damage Kikis is taking from that tower. Super easy for him to stick to it, soak up so much of the damage, and get themselves that first blood tower as well.
And this is a mid-game you were talking about. Now with the Rylai, some items under the belt of CozQ. HeaQ offering a little bit more utility here, although he does go down in the recon for the engages. Things look pretty good for Mysterious Monkeys, but we look at the gold and they're still just about dead even. Of course, they are going to get this Mountain Drake, but they are set to give up a tower if they're not careful on the top side, because what you saw in the picture-in-picture was Shook. And NIP picking up that Rift Herald, but it's kind of like a Rift Herald if you think about it.
Yeah, because one of the great mid-game strengths of Mordekaiser is his ability to siege. He can just grab that dragon, bring it over to the middle lane, and say, I challenge your Rift Herald to a battle of the dragons as they go head-to-head
it's like
in the middle lane.
It's like Pokemon. All right, battle. Come on.
Use Flame
Summon
Breath.
it, Shook. Summon it. You can't... If people hit the Pokemon, the game doesn't work. That's questionable. All right, well, they're still going to try to siege it down. The dragon dropping surprisingly quickly here. Of course, aided by the Smite of Shook does make it quite easy, but still a successful siege thus far. And they're trying to take it down. Dragon takes a bit of poke, still alive as Kikis backs off with his favorite pet.
And I love that setup from Mysterious Monkeys. Really good way to answer the Rift Arrow being picked up, a way in which to continue the snowball, the pressure, the tempo the Mysterious Monkeys have going in their favor. They take the bot tower, they take the mid tower. Now things still in the favor of the Mysterious Monkeys, but gold is still relatively close. Fortunately, I can let you guys know that Shook has now in fact done more than 0 damage, considering that he has been able to pick himself up a kill. So that's always great for the jungler of NIP. But now I want to be seeing him do a little bit more. Let's see him move up to the top side, help snowball that bottom lane that he started in the early game.
They're now pushing forward, so maybe this is the opportunity, but they're giving a lot of respect over to HeaQ and Sprattel. Not looking to take any risks here. Do have a ton of vision on the top side, but still respecting any unknown variables. And Vedius, the map reset. Teams just trading vision. Doesn't feel like we're going to have a lot of action quite yet as both teams get ready for the next play.
But let's backtrack to these win conditions we talked so much about earlier in the game, because for NIP, we talked very much about snowballing the mid and top. When you have a Renekton, the only way in which he can properly be played is if he has a slight advantage over his lane opponent. He's 1 and 2 right now. He has a CS advantage, but I feel like in a 1v1, he's not going to win out against this Mordekaiser. So that's one win condition that NIP are already falling behind on. And Nagne, sure, he's had a better performance. He's held his own in the middle lane, but he's still 0, 1, and 2. He is behind his lane opposition, and he may very well just die.
Dreams going forward, hits him with the Prom Knight, knocks him up, now taken down. Looking for a little bit more as the charm comes out. Dreams now backing off. He may just be in trouble. No backup here. Heal does come out from HeaQ right as he tails it out of there, but Private walks in for the cheeky auto to finish it off.
And all the while, Kikis is continuing to push down in the bottom lane. Both teams trade 1 for 1. No gold really changes hands, but Prophet will continue to fall even further behind as Shook uses that Rift Herald up in the top lane. So they should be able to equalize out the towers a little bit more and have a little bit more control over the entire map.
Yeah, leap forward. Huge chunk of damage there onto the tower. Shook just going to use the rest of that health bar to tank through this in the end. And Yuki's here. But he's all on his lonesome, and Shook has that level advantage already. Now just going to try to take this opportunity to kill the Rift Herald. But Mysterious Monkey's already on the bottom side. And if you thought 1 slow for Mordekaiser was not enough, well, Red Buff now backing him up as well. Not only gives him the health regen, but makes it impossible to get away from him.
Oh, it does. And with the vision investment from Mysterious Monkeys into the bottom side of the map, they're looking for another 3-man play. But NIP are answering. as Yuki made his way, but he's actually decided to back off.
Now the pressure's set up. We'll take a look at this one more time, but this feels like the Xayah and Rek'Sai doing exactly what they're supposed to, or the Rek'Sai rather.
Exactly that. He wanted to try and get to Sprattel, who could give him the lantern to get out. Unfortunately for Nagne, he got CC'd up too quickly and was too far away from the rest of his team. Prophet actually ended up using his flash as well, but as a compensation, it meant that the rest of Mysterious Monkeys couldn't help support Dream, so he ended up losing his life. So you end up going back and forth for the kills. Things trade fairly evenly. No real pressure advantage, except for the fact that MM were able to get a lot more vision around the top half of the map, but now they can't maintain it. So NIP have been able to answer by getting full river control.
Well, we can hear now. If you're in the audience, maybe you can hear that. That's Dreams, incredibly vocal member of the Mysterious Monkeys, trying to call out some plays ahead of the team. Makes it really nice as a caster, because guys, they're going to set up vision and then go there. I don't know what he means by saying go there, but they're going to go somewhere after they set up vision.
The game is slowed down. It's not quite the bloodbath that I was expecting, gotta be honest, Drakos. But we still have had a fair number of early kills. As CozQ
could be in trouble. Does barrier up. CC does come out. That's more than enough to take him down. Just a quick shutdown to CozQ.
Ah, CozQ. This man dies a lot. Getting caught out in the lane. Not really where you want to be as an Orianna. You have no tower support. You don't have the proper vision around the middle lane to properly see where your opposition is. And because you've now gotten caught, all of the pressure that Mysterious Monkeys had is kind of being dissipated, right? Like, they should be able to get this mid-tower, especially with Sprattel now coming in from the corner.
Another wave coming in. NIP doesn't look like they're going to risk it, but they just took 60% of the health for free.
Yep.
Completely uncontested. A single pick leads them to that point, and Kikis, so busy in the side lane, can't really come to help the team.
And it was a big thing in the series versus Fnatic as well. Like, look at the vision that CozQ has. He can see absolutely nothing. It makes it so easy for CozQ to just come in from behind, get the kick off, even get the flash out of CozQ. And at that point, I don't know why you'd bother flashing, because your death is almost guaranteed. And it's just a big misplay, because like CozQ getting caught out, you cannot afford to do, especially on a champion like Orianna. Because now those team fights, it's going to be even harder for you to kite back when you have no mobility inside your kit.
Need the flash. Have to wait for that cooldown. 3 minutes away before he can make any more aggressive moves, but have to hope that it'll stop him from pushing for anything deeper, because NIP gold may be slightly in favor of the Mysterious Monkeys, but they could be ready for a fight right here. However, team's not in a great spot to respond.
And remember what Mordekaiser can do with the Dragon as HeaQ goes on to CozQ.
HeaQ.
Oh!
Well, play the wacky sacks. Fancy sidestep. I like it coming in from CozQ, but also just kind of outplayed themselves there.
Kind of outplayed themselves, and now they can go straight to the Baron. With the extra Dragon, think about how much your clear speed is so much faster. You're ready to fight in a 5v6.
Oh, Sprattel's getting caught out as well. Kikis just going to walk in with that last little tap. The Mace of Spades doing so much damage. Baron in their sights, and NIP are going to have to respond. You wanted a moment for Shook to prove himself. You wanted him to get a little more damage to champions. Well, this might not be it, but it could be the steal, Vedius.
Here we go, Shook. He's coming in from behind. He has very little vision, but there is a ward in the pit. Amazing trying to stop him.
TP coming in. Shook not going to get hit by the shockwave in the end. Stun up coming in from Baron, who's going to get it. Is secured by Amazing in the end, but now NIP could be looking for a fight. HeaQ, Nagne taking a lot of poke damage from the Dragon. Still just powering through, poking down onto Nagne. And they're just going to walk out unscathed. Not a single member from the Mysterious Monkeys going to drop during that Baron attempt.
Oh, it's a shame NIP have no ice attacks because they're super effective against Dragon. But in this instance, they had the 6 members versus the 4. Shook, he couldn't get anywhere near the pit to try and get the steal. And it's simply a matter of NIP just getting caught out of position. Who'd have thought that this game would be decided just on single members being caught out? CozQ gets caught in the mid, doesn't result in anything for NIP because they can't even get that tier 2 in the mid. Sprattel gets killed after the Dragon goes down, and immediately Mysterious Monkeys swing that into 2,500.
And it feels like the Mordekaiser just kind of raises the stakes. Like, if you make a single mistake against a Mordekaiser and when he has a Dragon, you're instantly going to lose something else. Whether it's a tower, whether it's a Baron in this case, it feels like these are risks that NIP really can't afford to be taking.
And it's so important for them early on to have snowballed this Renekton to get him into a good position where they could have really challenged the Mordekaiser, and then when they come to these mid-game fights, they were in a better position to be able to challenge for these dragons, but instead they've had to concede every single one of them because the early focus was more on the bottom lane rather than anywhere else. So NIP, I feel like they didn't even identify their own win conditions, and it's just allowed MM to scale up and now get to a point with 2 items completed into their prime teamfight ready mode.
Exactly where they want to be. Baron buff backing them up as well, and you can see how much damage Shook goes in just from the Mordekaiser and the minions, losing so much of his health. Now to siege forward, and Vedius, neither of these teams have ever successfully closed out the game, even on the back of Baron, even on the back of some winning fights. Prophet now pushing in the mid lane. We're going to need to see some decisive play from Mysterious Monkeys if they want to balance this one out.
Yeah, Mysterious Monkeys looking very positive right now. They've been able to control a lot of the game. They still have the Shockwave, they have the Rakan engage, but they don't really have a proper minion wave, as we did see Prophet pushing in the mids, but I don't know if Mysterious Monkeys can really...
Mordekaiser now backing off. It's a 4v4 on the bottom side. Mordekaiser, one of the stronger members of the team, though. Could be an issue. Tower just goes. NIP, are you going to fight for this? Or are you just going to give up the inhibitor? Shook looking for a kick in. Just going to connect on a minion. Nothing going to happen. So you can see Renekton bullied off that tower. There you go. Advantage to Mysterious Monkeys. They're not going to push in for the inhibitor, though. NIP still kind of fishing with their CC. Not looking to commit quite yet.
You can see Prophet, he's being stopped from going back to base. He doesn't have the teleport as hook finally lands.
Engage forward on Rakan. Can they pop before he gets out? No option to leave. That's the pick for NIP, and now they're in control of this fight, but not going to push for anything more. Just content to hold on to the base.
This is so messy from both teams. The fact that Mysterious Monkeys have a Baron, and they all group up in a single lane to push, rather than dealing with Prophet, rather than properly trying to force a fight. Like, both teams, both teams are just... I don't know, they're just grouping up and trying to make stuff happen, and then they're just leaving the rest of the map open for the enemy team to then find windows. The hook from Sprattel to get the pick onto Dreams. The fact that Prophet's able to nearly get that mid-tier 3 down, rather, means that they only really gain an extra tower off the back of that, and it's still 5-4.
3K gold difference, the biggest difference between these two teams, as well as the Mountain and Infernal Drake coming in the favor of Mysterious Monkeys. So they do have a lead. But the first Baron breaks the inhibitor line, does not break an inhibitor. Maybe that's okay for the team. We can say that. It is a trade that favors them in the end. However, they need to break that base if they want to close this game out. And neither of the teams in the past have really been too successful on that front, except for Kikis and, of course, his split push attempts on that Aatrox versus Fnatic.
Which surprises me, right? Because as a player, Kikis usually likes to split push, and when you are playing a Mordekaiser with TP up, TP advantage of a Prophet, I feel like that could have been a big opportunity for you to really spread NIP thin and force a lot of things to happen, break into the base a little easier. But instead, game's slow back. We've almost reset. There's so much wave clear in NIP that they're actually now just buying time with the Varus and the Syndra. And it's difficult now for Mysterious Monkeys. They have to wait for the next objective to spawn. The Mountain Drake will be spawning in about 50 seconds. And once they get that, then the siege becomes a lot easier.
And you have to wonder what the next move they're actually going to make is. Even if you can maybe see the correct move or the safest move or that quote-unquote perfect game, looking for a way to close it out. But when you got
CozQ,
a giant crocodile and or alligator hiding in the bush, ready to kill CozQ, you have to wonder if the perfect game really means anything right now.
I think just winning the game is the most important thing for both these teams, especially given that they are yet to get a single game win. Vision very heavily spread out towards the bottom side of NIP's jungle. A lot of control was invested from Mysterious Monkeys. Is it slow game? I really want them to kill each other now, Drakos. Like, we have the Blood Moon, we have a Rakan, we have a Thresh.
You have Blood Moon Thresh, too.
Where's the murder?
They're taking the time, Vedius. Both of these guys want their first game. They don't want to give up.
That's true, that's fair. That's fair.
But this is interesting.
This is very interesting.
They're just going to move forward. Who needs minions when you can just break a tower for free?
And they'll get another one, too.
NIP actually completely ahead on the play. Mysterious Monkeys not respecting the wave pressure coming in. Do get the Mountain Drake, but are now hanging out in the mid lane. What are they? There's three people just chilling in the mid lane. What are you guys doing?
Mysterious Monkeys, they don't have a minion wave. They want to try and use the dragon to push something, but because there's nothing to push with, They're kind of left up a creek without a paddle right now. They lose 2 towers to get themselves the dragon. But what can they use the dragon for? Because the rest of NIP is just disengaging. Very little gain for Mysterious Monkeys.
And the gold now only a 2K difference. Dragons clearly in favor, but everything that they earned from the Baron, from the catch on Sprattel, now gone. Shook.
Oh my god.
Very close. Kick is very frustrated, you can tell.
It's alright. Okay, Kikis in split push mode. He now has the wave up top lane. You have a wave pushing bot, but Renekton is answering it. So, Mysterious Monkeys group up as a 4-man unit, start pushing mid, allow Kikis to push up in the top lane, and then once you have this pressure, invest deep vision in the top half of NIP's jungle, and then you can look to make a Baron play. That should be the process now for Mysterious Monkeys. Let's see if they decide to do that.
Well, the dragon's gone. And that's a short life.
And the split push pressure is gone.
But Baron is up now, Vedius.
And now look at the bottom lane too. Prophet's been able to push up the wave. That means Kikis has to go and answer. NIP are actually playing the map very well.
And outmaneuvering Mysterious Monkeys
They
for
really
now.
are. They're like avoiding full 5v5s at all costs. And they're just using the map to outplay Mysterious Monkeys.
We do have a lot of veteran leadership on the team. Shook, Nagne to a certain degree, Sprattel, HeaQ also with small experience under his belt. So maybe just confidence in the calls here coming in, something we thought we would have with Amazing and Kikis, but clearly the team not quite able to coordinate in the way that they would like. And Mordekaiser's scary, but as you said, he has no CS. Storm Raider's Surge is what he needs to proc if he wants to chase down the Renekton, but Renekton just keeps walking away.
I love the fact that NIP, I mean, it sucks for the viewers that NIP aren't fighting, but it's really smart League of Legends, right? Because they have identified that the win condition for Mysterious Monkeys is a 5v5 team fight. And while they do have dreams to force a fight, it's actually pretty difficult for Kikis to immediately follow up. And CozQ has the ball delivery system, but Dreams he's a little tankier now, but that doesn't mean that he's going to survive long enough for CozQ to get a good shockwave off, right? So Mysterious Monkeys, they really need the good setup. They need to be playing around things like a dragon, like a Baron, and NIP have said, you know what? Nah, we don't want to fight you. We're not interested. We're just going to go for a few skirmishes here and there. And NIP have done a great job of being able to stay alive in this game.
So far, so good for the team. Mysterious Monkeys looked in control for a decent period of time, but when the Baron didn't really amount to anything, you have to wonder how much control they actually have here. Unfortunately, Sweeper runs out and they're not able to clear the ward there. Amazing. Props to Sweeper for a different area.
And you know, Drakos, the last time you and I cast NIP, the Lord of the Pit was a large part as to why NIP were able to stall out the game, and now we're approaching another Baron area. Could Nagne reclaim control?
Okay, to be fair, when we called him Lord of the Pit, he did literally make a wall with Talia to block people out of the pit.
But now he can do it with balls.
No comment.
But let's see, because the Baron will be the big play. You can see NIP trying to answer with vision of their own. As we have a bit of a 1v1 down the bottom lane.
And this is a bit of an awkward thing, because it's not actually 1v1. Kikis could be in trouble here, but the Rune King coming in. Ult's going to offer a little bit of healing, but Kikis just drops, and now instantly the rest of Mysterious Monkeys set their sights on the Baron. 4K, Shook on the way in. Can he leap forward? Is going to get Charm Flash in, not going to steal it away. Nagne trying to do the Lord of the Pit, but too little, too late on the side of NIP. Yet another Baron in the hands of Mysterious Monkeys. Prophet over the wall, though, maybe looking to stun up Amazing. Decent damage comes out, but the team just more than content to disengage Varus too far away to make a play happen.
Very close steal coming out from Shook. He tried to get the smite from over the wall, but Amazing, his F key was just a little bit stronger on the day. And it will result in the Baron going in favor of Mysterious Monkeys. They've extended their gold lead once again, but you have to give praise to NIP because they're playing this surprisingly well. The fact that they're able to kill Kikis down in the bottom lane, sure, Mysterious Monkeys, they go immediately to the Baron,
all right.
NIP answer effectively, and while they don't get it, it's definitely looking more promising.
And that's true. But we have to remember that comes from a place where we've seen these teams disappoint pretty consistently in the past. Because at the same time, Vedius, while I'd love to be like, yes, you guys got Kikis. Like, good job, team. They also gave up Baron. And while last time that Baron was not a big threat, we have to remember that it is still an immensely powerful buff. And if Mysterious Monkeys can coordinate, this could just give them such a massive advantage.
But that's the issue. Look at the side lanes. Look where Kikis is right now. He doesn't have a Baron. And in the bottom lane, there's a big slow push going in favor of NIP. So sure, Mysterious Monkeys, you group up mid, you push. When they have a Syndra, a Thresh, and a Varus, there's the risk of you getting picked off. But there is more than enough wave clear for NIP to just hold out and just keep playing these side lanes because Mysterious Monkeys cannot properly set up 3 pushing lanes to properly utilize the Baron.
But Kikis will push one of them. And he'll just keep pushing Vedius.
Yeah, but then Prof will just go push it back. Like, NIP are playing the side lane so much better than Mysterious Monkeys right now.
I'm just waiting for that fight. Waiting to see them pull the trigger. Try to find the engage. They have the Orianna. They have the delivery system. The Rakan can engage on anyone at any moment, but Dream seems to be so hesitant. Has the flash, the charm, the combo. But, you know, no one's looking to use it. They're just hoping, waiting for the next creep wave. Slowly, Baron buff ticks down. 1 minute and 30 seconds left. They've used more than half of it to, I don't know, hokey pokey in the mid lane? What would you call this?
Struggling to know what to do. Mysterious Monkeys, they really want to fight. But NIP are just not letting them. And the worst thing that NIP could do is fall for it, as we do see a flank from Prophet. Run, man, run!
Trying to flank, not going to get the opportunity. Everything being burned onto Prophet now. He's trying to make his way out. Flash to safety for the team, but that's a lot of engaged tools gone. GA still up means Mordekaiser cannot lock that target down and take him away from the team. And NIP just looking to disengage. Happy to take the ultimate out from Dreams. Look to just back off.
So Prophet, he did lose a lot of his health. He doesn't have the TP. I figured that MM might go for the Elder Dragon. Instead, they want to try and get this mid tower down. And this is actually good for Mysterious Monkeys because now NIP do not feel as confident not having HeaQ or not having Prophet around without having that front line, given that MM may very well go for a dive. So the Baron is about to wear off. Elder Dragon is on the cards. Can Mysterious Monkeys finally find the fight that they want, or will NIP just concede?
HeaQ. No vision in the pit quite yet. Have to keep our eyes on what NIP can see. Smites both up for both teams. Elder Dragon available for the Mordekaiser, who's going to get it. HeaQ goes in. Still amazing. Steals it out, and now the Dragon is there to back it up. NIP cannot take this fight, but they're taking it anyway. Backing up. Featherstorm comes out. Renekton going to be locked down immediately and shut down by CozQ. Now HeaQ is running for his life as the Dragon and 4 members, 5 members strong. Flash in, Dream trying to look the knockup. Where's the chain CC? There's it. Can't even click the lantern. Double drops for CozQ.
He misses the ultimate, but he still gets the kill. CozQ cleaning things up. And NIP, the worst thing you could do is go for the 5v5 fight. Not only do you fail to get the Dragon, but also you just do not coordinate your efforts in trying to make things happen. Things do not come together. MM secure the Dragon, they secure the kills, and now they're sieging into the base.
It's looking like it could be pretty easy. Yet another inhibitor stands with them. They have a Dragon backing them up as well. Very easy to push forward. Quickness comes out, gonna get knocked right back. No one getting charmed today by Dreams. Now pulling in, NIP holding on with everything they got, but Nagne getting lower and lower. Have to keep your eyes on the Rek'Sai ult if it's going to go in. Not marked up quite yet. Out comes the locket. In goes the grand entrance. Not going to be enough. And Mysterious Monkeys, one final fight around the Elder Dragon, should find them their first win. Can they do it? Yes! First win, Mysterious Monkeys.
Their very first win of the split will be taking down Ninjas in Pyjamas. Bear in mind, the last time we saw this kind of a scenario where Roccat were going up against Origin, the sudden reverse happened, and Roccat went on that massive winning streak, and this could be the start for Mysterious Monkeys, the beginning of their resurgence. And while there were a lot of good things, I loved the draft, I loved the early game from Mysterious Monkeys, the mid game, they really did struggle. Their ability to manage sideways, their ability to force fights, things were definitely rough for Mysterious Monkeys, and it did give NIP a big opportunity to come back.
You have to wonder, the position that NIP put themselves in were 3 out of 3 major objectives, 2 Barons and an Elder Drake, had to be smite steal attempts coming in for HeaQ. We know they can't afford to take the team fight. Maybe that is the only option, but has to be something else that you can do in the early game to stop yourself from getting into those kind of situations.
And I am disappointed with HeaQ because considering how much praise we've given him in the sense that he's always involved with a lot of the First Bloods, he was the big facilitator in the success against H2K in the early game. And then we didn't see him do anything in this game. 15 minutes into the game and he did 0 damage. Just very underwhelming performance from HeaQ, and I want him to see more influence in the top and mid lane.
Well, we're going to have to see. Mysterious Monkeys took the lead in this series against Ninjas in Pyjamas. No party hats, no clown noses. Quick shot official here to tell you how it happened.
Well, we can't start with that because it was a much more competitive game.
Luckily, we look like clowns.
Exactly. Let's talk a little bit about that early game because Deficio, HeaQ kind of gave Kikis a free laning phase. Why was that?
So I don't think NIP, funny enough, they didn't expect Mordekaiser maybe to show up. They clearly didn't know actually how to play against it very early on. Because against Mordekaiser, he's going to push. He has no mobility. He's squishy. You can gank him. You play Lee Sin. You have Renekton top lane. You can gank him level 3, 4, 5, boom, 2, 3 kills, and suddenly Mordekaiser is really far behind. What ended up happening in the early game was HeaQ did 3 full camps, Raptors, red buff, and then he did his Crux. And he was like, all right, well, I'm losing my top side, so I'm going to go into enemy blue buff. And he just split the map. He was on bottom side, while Amazing was on top side. And that actually meant Kikis could just perma push for the first 3, 4 levels, didn't get ganked, and suddenly Mordekaiser is actually looking really good.
I mean, the casters were talking about it as well, how by 13, 14 minutes into the game, HeaQ had dealt 0 damage to champions because the person that was ganking on the NIP side was Nagne. Talk to me a little bit about how Nagne was able to impact both bottom and top lane.
So, NIP had push in bot lane and mid lane early game, with Syndra obviously pushing in the Orianna, and then obviously on bottom side, they also had to push going for their bot lane. So, Nagne was actually able to multiple times push in CozQ, leave the lane out of vision, and then go for a kill. And we actually have a replay of that as well, because what's important to highlight here is how slowly Mysterious Monkey is actually calling that Nagne can roam. So the first one here, it takes 9 seconds for the first ping to come down and for the bot lane of Mysterious Monkeys to move back. Right there, you see the ping in your minimap, and you see Mysterious Monkeys started moving away from NIP's bot lane. That's way too late because Nagne is now already nearby to actually instantly join the gank. That was 9 seconds it took to call that Nagne was roaming. The next one, 11 seconds. He leaves now, and at this point here, you should already call. But once again, if you look at the minimap, Kikis is not moving until this very point right there, 11 seconds later after Syndra went out of vision. So 2 kills went in favor of NIP, where it could actually have been called very early from CozQ. What you want to call as a pro mid lane is you want to say, I'm getting pushed in, I cannot roam. Careful, guys. There's a chance Syndra is leaving. And that means as a bot lane and as a top laner, if you obviously don't have any vision, which they didn't have in the river both times, so that's another no-no right there, you got to respect that and already start playing a bit more passive until you see Syndra again. Otherwise, stuff like this will happen. 9 seconds first one, 11 seconds the
Unforgivable. Unforgivable at this level of play. You need to be calling those things. And that's going to be the difference for Mysterious Monkeys against losing and winning against some of the tougher teams in the groups. Let's turn to some positives for Mysterious Monkeys because they got every single dragon. They got 2 barons. The only objective they didn't get was that Rift Herald, but it didn't matter because they got a dragon in exchange. It just felt like Amazing and the rest of the monkeys controlled those important objectives.
Yeah, exactly. They knew exactly what to do in level 1, as we highlighted earlier, with Amazing being on the top side for Kikis, and it allowed the Mordekaiser to get through the early laning phase, and then we get to see what he can do. You get Drake. Okay, fine. Now you have a massive extra member, 6 guys on your team starting a Baron up. It is really difficult for NIP to then fight you and actually contest this kind of objective. And you can even see here how Dreams is doing everything he needs to do to keep HeaQ out of the pit, so there's no chance of a steal. And now you can't fight because, again, the Drake is also there. You already lost your support. So Mysterious Monkeys obviously came in and said, we know exactly what to do with this Mordekaiser. We need to get him through the early game. What HeaQ should have done was do his Raptor camp, his red buff level 1, and then go straight to the blue buff of himself, like his own blue buff. Because he had mid lane push. Syndra could just go with him in case Amazing was there with Kikis to try and fight them. And it would have been 2v3 in favor of NIP. But that didn't happen. That's why we see kind of the Mordekaiser get out, do objectives, get Drakes, and use those Drakes to further snowball. So I actually think Mysterious Monkeys played a really good mid to late game compared to what we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
And once again, they kind of continued that positive trend after they got Amazing and Kikis of having more of a game plan.
And what I like about the game plan for Mysterious Monkeys last week and this week, fairly committed to the split push Kikis strategy. Kikis has a very wide, very diverse champion pool, no longer the tanky-tonky player that he was famous for. But Mysterious Monkeys a little bit of hope, maybe, looking forward, because
100%.
This level of play might actually be able to beat the likes of Vitality or Roccat or anybody else in the bottom echelons, and who knows how much better they can get. This is not the same Clown Fiesta of Origin Roccat from the Spring Split.
And that is really important to highlight. Like, this game was at a much higher level than what we saw last split. Obviously, it doesn't take a whole lot to beat it, but I think just with Mysterious Monkeys, we've seen 3 games in a row now where I'm seeing consistencies as well.
Yeah.
Like, none of them have been completely weird, fiestas where they just fell apart. And that's ever since Amazing Kikis joined the lineup. So it's not a flash in the pan. It's actually been happening now for 4 games.
While we're seeing consistent good plays, we're also seeing some consistent bad plays. For example, not pinging those SSs, maybe a little bit of sloppy moves around the base. We'll see whether or not Mysterious Monkeys can clean up in game 2. Thank you very much to Fishio. Mysterious Monkeys are 1 win away from taking down the Ninjas in Pyjamas and securing their first series win of the split. We'll be right back after this break.